Welcome to the third hour of American Agenda. I'm Bob Seller.
And I'm Heather Childers. We're joined today by our all-star panel of co-hosts, host of The Joe Pags Show, Joe Pags, founder of the Tea Party Patriot Citizens Fund, Jenny Beth Martin, and host of Stacy on the Right, Stacy Washington. Welcome to everyone today.
All right, the Conservative Political Action Committee, otherwise known as CPAC, is kicking off today in Orlando, Florida. Former President Trump set to speak this Sunday, 3:40 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it right here on Newsmax. Now, what will the former president talk about? Will he talk about the future of the Republican Party? Will he talk about what happened during this past election? What will he talk about? What else can we expect to hear from the president? Let's ask our guests. Are we going to see a Trump comeback? Let me start with you, Joe. I've seen reports that the president may talk about how he actually did win the election. Do you think he would go there? And if so, what would be the effect?
I don't think he should. I think that he should probably move past that now. We've inaugurated somebody else. What I hope that he does as a conservative and as somebody who really does support former President Trump, I hope he says, do you miss me yet? I hope he says, where is Biden? I hope he says, why didn't Biden go to Texas? Why did he cancel the trip to Michigan to go to the vaccine plant, because there was a quarter of an inch of snow in Washington, D.C.? Maybe talk about the hard work that he did and how hard the job is, and that maybe this guy isn't up to the job. But I think, Bob, if he goes back and focuses on November 3rd, that's going to be a backlash against him. I think that people who support him love him. Many of them feel like he won. But going back and rehashing that doesn't do anything for the conservative movement, the Trump movement, the MAGA movement, or Republicans going forward. I hope, and I haven't talked to the guy, I hope too soon, but I hope he doesn't go back to that, truly.
By the way, are you going to it, Joe?
I'm not. I was invited, but I am not going. I'm not going to do it. I don't like the whole social distancing and wearing masks and stuff, so I'm not going to go this time.
Okay. Stacy, are you going?
I am not. We are still under a travel advisory at SiriusXM, the entire company, so okay. I won't be able to broadcast there. And because of that, I actually agree with Joe. I don't want to spend 8 hours a day wearing a mask. And one of the things about CPAC that I enjoy is interfacing with people. And with the social distancing, that'll be really tough. So I'm sitting this one out. I was invited to broadcast from Radio Row, as every year they invite me. And this year it was really unfortunate because I have the new program on at night on SiriusXM, so I won't be able to do it. But as far as the president's remarks, I don't know how productive it is to continue to rehash what happened in November. I'm advising my listeners to move on from that, not because anything has changed, but because the more productive way to spend our time, and I feel the president is going to touch on this, is to talk about what to do in the state legislatures to ensure that the kind of irregularities that happened in November can't happen again, by just focusing on getting signature verification on votes. When you come in to vote, you have your signature verified. You have your no ballot boxes, limiting mail-in voting to absentee voting, which is what it was originally. And then, of course, making sure that people have voter ID. And I think the president's going to talk about a lot of different things. I think he's going to talk about the continued witch hunt against him. New York is still attacking his finances and his company. He's getting attacks from all sides. He has so much to talk about. I think he's really going to hit everything. Like
Heather,
always.
Heather, what do you think?
I mean, I think that, as Stacy was saying, there's an opportunity to talk about election integrity, which he's already mentioned is one of the things that he's going to focus on moving forward with the office of the former president. And then he can also talk about H.R. 1, which has been in the news. And then he can also talk about some of the promises that perhaps Biden or some of his people made on the campaign trail that they've not followed through on. And then also, obviously, the disastrous policies that they've already put in place through executive orders. So I think maybe those are some of the things that he'll talk about as well.
Yeah, we're going to be covering it down there. John Bachman will be there. Jenny Beth, are you going to be there?
I am. I'm actually in Orlando already. We are previewing a new documentary that we're rolling out through Tea Party Patriots Action called Surviving Socialism. And then on Sunday morning, several hours before President Trump speaks, I'm going to be on a panel about election integrity. And I will be talking about some of what we learned that happened in Georgia, but most importantly, we can't change what happened in November of 2020, but we need to make sure that we can have faith in our elections in 2022 and 2024. So I'll be focusing on lessons learned and how we can work to improve things with election integrity across the country and in Georgia.
Yeah, that's what you're going to be talking about. What do you think think the president will talk about, and what would be the most valuable to him and the party?
I think that I want to hear the president talk about immigration and how President Biden's policies are actually causing a surge in caravans again along our southern border, and that the courts have said that he cannot actually stop deporting people, that they're not allowed to do that, and really just remind people that one of the biggest things that President Trump did was secure our border. We even have Democrat legislators in some of the border states saying, wait a minute, some of what's happening on the border now since Biden has become president are not what their constituents want to see happen. So I think that it's important for President Trump to remind people this is one of the reasons he got elected, and it's something that really differentiates his vision for America versus what we're seeing from the radical open borders left.
Yeah, you know, Joe, it seems like the president, if he chooses to look forward, could really become the kingmaker for 2022.
I couldn't agree more. I talked to Brad Parscale, his former campaign manager and former digital director, just 2 days ago on my show, and he said, you're going to see campaigner Trump. You're going to see a guy out there who's going to help to ensure the House flips back to Republican in 2022. This is why the witch hunt continues. This is clearly why they're going to keep him under the microscope and hopefully keep him under the thumb. He is the most powerful. Even Mitt Romney admitted this yesterday. He is the most popular, most powerful Republican right now in the party, and he's going to be able to help switch the House in 2022. Whether the Senate can happen, that's going to be a harder get. But you're right. He's going to be able to go in there and become the chief reason why, if Republicans flip it back, why that happens. He's the most popular, and if the Republicans and conservatives embrace him like they should, they're going to do very well in 2022. Very good point. Going forward, and that's why I say don't look back to November, I think he's going to be that guy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think everybody's going to be, because we all know with President Trump, you don't know. It could be anything, any of the things that we were all talking about here. So everybody stand by, if you will. Coming up, President Biden's COVID relief bill, sounding a lot more like a spending bill, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this relief package. More on American Agenda after this.